Welcome to Aging Insights. I'm Melissa Chonker, Executive Director of the New Jersey Foundation for Aging. The Foundation's mission is to enable seniors to live with independence and dignity in their communities. Aging Insights is produced by the New Jersey Foundation for Aging to provide information and resources to boomers, seniors, and caregivers. We all know that moving more and getting some exercise is good for us. It's good for our physical well-being and our mental well-being. Some research even shows it keeps our brain healthy. However, it can be difficult to get started. Sometimes you can't find something you like, or you have some limitations, and so you think, I can't do that. Well, yes, you can. And I have two guests here with me today to share with you some exercise programs, information, and modifications. Our guests today are Eileen Tremarco, Chair Yoga Instructor, and Nona, a fitness instructor and certified Zumba Gold instructor. And we're going to learn all about what those things mean in a minute, right? Thank you both for taking time out of your busy teaching schedules to join us today. I did, Nona, want to start with you, and if you could just begin by telling us how you got involved in fitness to begin with, and take us through that a little bit first.
Okay. Well, when I was turning 60, I found Zumba as an exercise program and fell in love with it. Mm-hmm. It was something that I could do that I wasn't limited by, and was able to do after work and on the weekends. And I really loved the program, and I was always modifying for myself because of my age with arthritis. And then they introduced the Zumba Gold program. And the Gold program is adapted for seniors and anyone who might have any mobility issues or limitations. And so my instructors kept prodding me to go for the training, and I finally relented after being a Zumba participant for 18 months. And right after that, the company that I worked for offered a buyout, and handwriting was on the wall that my job was going away. So I took advantage of it, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah. So started out as a participant in an exercise program that just was the right fit for you, and through a series of events were encouraged to become an instructor yourself, and I think that's terrific. So for people who might not be familiar with Zumba, can you explain what it is?
Right, so Zumba is a dance fitness program, and it's based on international rhythms, and it's just have fun. Right. You know, that's what we tell all the participants: get your feet going, and then the rest of the body, the hips and shoulders and arms, will follow. When I went for my training, my instructor said, you know, you need to get other training to make sure that if you're going to work with seniors, that you keep them safe and you know how to modify. So I sought out AFA, which is Aerobics and Fitness Association of America. I got my certification for group exercise and choreography. And I also wanted to work with seniors in the water, so I looked into other trainings for aquatic exercise. So I got my certification in Arthritis Foundation, Land and Sea, and also for silver sneakers. And so I just keep progressing. With AFA, you have to have the continuing education.
Right, so you have to continue getting trainings to keep up to date with that certificate.
So I do that all the time. I'm always looking for new things to innovate. So I took bar training. I'm going for Tai Chi training next week.
That's great.
Just try to incorporate all those things into what you're teaching, keep everybody safe, and get that mobility and range of motion, keep that for all different participants.
So I want to hear a little bit more about some of the other classes you teach, but I do want to go back quickly because we mentioned Zumba Gold and you just talked about keeping people safe. So in order to keep people safe, Zumba Gold, as you said, is for older participants or people with mobility issues. So can you describe a little bit how it's different than regular Zumba?
Regular Zumba can be a little high impact, and depending on the instructors too. A lot of instructors jump. You don't have to, but so you're still getting the cardio workout, but you're keeping it low impact. You're also modifying so that you're not torquing the hips and knees. People that have had hip or knee replacements might have shoulder issues. So you're always teaching at a moderate level, and I like to get to know the participants and know what their limitations are, if they have any, so that I can modify and, you know, speak with them privately. And
say, when I do this, you should do it this way.
Right.
Like offer them the modification in advance, right?
But I always tell everybody, go at your own pace. My level is just a suggestion, whatever feels good for you. If it doesn't feel good, it's not good.
Right.
So,
well, that's really good advice,
Right.
and I think that'll come into play later as we continue talking. But you mentioned these other certifications you have, so could you tell us a small listing of some of the other things you teach?
So I teach a class at the Y in Old Bridge, Forever Fitness. So we use oldies music, and it's a low-impact cardio. We use weights in our hands, and we do a lot of lunges and squats and everything, but everything is modified to keep everybody safe, and they love it. We have a really big senior population there. I teach Zumba Gold here. I teach 3 classes a week in the water, aqua fusion, boards, belts, and buoys, using different equipment in the water, and then a Payo Chi class, which I went to AEA, Aquatic Education Association, for that training. So you incorporate Pilates, breathing, and toning exercises along with yoga stretches adapted for the water. Bits of cardio in between to stay warm in the water because you're usually in a cool pool. And then Tai Chi for the cool down and relaxation.
Well, that sounds great.
Yeah. And then we'll also do Zumba Gold for people that are in wheelchairs or walkers.
Oh, great.
So I teach in an assisted living. And
so there are lots of modifications people can do. So whether it's regular Zumba or Zumba Gold, why do you think Zumba, you know, as a participant, former participant yourself before you became an instructor, what is it you think about Zumba that draws people in other than, you know, besides other exercise programs?
It's the music. It's the camaraderie of the other participants. You become friends, and you just laughing. You don't feel like you're exercising, you know. And before you know it, you're sweating, and you've really, you know, brought your heart rate up and cooled down and had a great time, and the time flies. So,
yeah,
it's a really good socialization. Some people just come to class for that. They, you know, they keep it really low. They only do what they can, but they're there also to socialize and get out and talk to other people. Yeah.
And I think it's really great that it, you know, comes in a modified version so that people who might be afraid to start an exercise program know that they don't have to do it the you know, the regular way. There's a modification and an ability for them to participate, even if they are, you know, suffering from arthritis or even in a wheelchair. There are other things for them to do and still participate. So given what you've been trained to do and the participants you've seen, what is some advice that you give people who might be afraid to start an exercise program?
Number one, always check with your doctor to make sure if it's safe for you to exercise. And just, you know, call. You can go on Zumba.com to find classes and talk with the instructor when you get there and say, you know, this is my first time. I'm just going to try it out. What do you suggest? And, you know, just have fun with it. Start with your feet. Don't get frustrated because nobody gets it the first time. But just enjoy the music and the people that you're with, and eventually it'll click and you'll absolutely love it.
Right. And we should mention that you do teach some of your fitness classes in Piscataway at their senior center there. And I know you both have experience in senior centers, so I think in addition to hitting Zumba.com, people shouldn't be afraid to look at their local senior center and see what exercise programs are available there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that a lot of those programs might feature specific modifications so that they don't have to feel like it's an exercise program they cannot do, that it's something that would come with it. And you're going to show us in a little bit some Zumba exercises and focus on those modifications so that people understand that they too can get their dance on with Zumba, right? Terrific. Well, Eileen, I did want to then move into talking with you a little bit because, you know, jumping and dancing, even if it's modified, isn't for everybody, right? Some people like to do something a little bit more peaceful, and when we think about that, yoga often comes to mind. So specifically, you're a chair yoga instructor. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how it might differ from what people are used to for traditional yoga?
Yeah, chair yoga, I like to say, is for everyone. It's absolutely perfect for the 55-plus community, which is where I do a lot of my work in the adult communities. And the chair serves as a prop. So a large percentage of the people who attend my class have some part of their body that is problematic. Knees are a big deal. And you can sit in the chair, you can move your body without that weight-bearing stress on the joints. Low back issues are a problem, so we can stretch out the back. The chair is great for balancing exercises, especially if you're holding onto the chair. You can tap your foot, the foot that's up in the air, for a little extra security, or tap your hand on the chair for a little extra security, or grab the chair if you need it. I like to give many levels to each exercise so that it's available to everyone. And it's really important to tune into your body and listen to your body. It's easy to get caught up in the class and want to do what your neighbor is doing or do what I'm doing. And I can't stress it enough that we need to just listen to our body and honor the limitations that we have. And if you need to just sit, which is a great option with the chair, sit and watch. And when I look out at class, I would say someone at some point is just sitting and watching because that's what they need to do.
Right. And I think that's a great reminder for all exercise programs, but particularly for what you teach for the chair yoga. It's a good reminder that the chair is there not only as a prop to be used in the exercise, but also for you to honor what your body needs at the time. And if that's a rest, then you should do that. And I think that you're right, that is an excellent reminder for folks. So how long have you been teaching chair yoga?
I've been teaching for 4 years.
Okay.
And
how did you get started into the yoga in general, or chair yoga?
I always love movement. I'm a walker. I love to walk. I started yoga when I was 18, and I had a change of life event similar to you. And I decided to reinvent my career and go in to chair yoga. I'm also a certified holistic health counselor. So I bring one topic to class. How can we feel good in our bodies through movement? We try to move many body parts, but focusing on one area each week. Maybe giving a little extra attention to the neck and shoulders, which is a big area for stress and tension. The hips as well, big area for stress and tension. So it's, I think it's a perfect exercise for anyone. I have 20-year-olds in my class. Actually, one time I had a 12-year-old in my class. I have 90-year-olds in my class. And I have a woman who says, I do the best I can with what I've got. And you know, she might barely be moving, but she's moving her body.
And that's the important part, right? And, you know, I talked in the beginning of the show about how it's good not only for our physical well-being, which certainly you've told us about the benefits of yoga and what it can do for us, but it's also that mental benefit, right, of having a release. And I think all exercise has that ability to do that, but yoga in particular is a little bit more structured in that way, right, to be a mindful practice?
Definitely, definitely. I'll go into the benefits that I feel. Yoga, a big one, is body awareness. It really allows the individuals to tune into their bodies, and we'll do exercises and bring awareness to the fact that one leg is not as strong as the other, or one hip is tighter than the other, or the range of motion is not what they would hope it to be. And that is homework. I really advocate going home and having an at-home practice and working on those parts of the body. And the number one thing that people say when they leave my class is, I just feel good. I don't know why I feel good, but I just feel good. I have some ideas on why they feel good. Exercise releases endorphins. It's very good for our mood, as you know, and we've had a spring with lots of rainy weather, so I started up a couple of classes saying, you know, let's get those endorphins flowing. We focus on breathing. That's a big one, and I say if that's the only thing someone takes away from class, then they're that much better for it. Some pulmonologists send their patients to yoga just to cultivate good breathing. And what I notice when someone comes to class and they're new to class, they're breathing with the upper quadrant, and they're not getting down into the lower lung. And so that's our starting point. You know, we get centered on the chair, get into that deep abdominal breathing, pushing the belly out, and what I see is the bellies are getting pulled in. And somewhere along the path, because babies start out with the bellies pushing out, I think in our younger years we're told to suck it in and, you know, look good, pulling the belly in. So breathing is so important. So we get down into the lower lung, there's more receptors to take in oxygen, and that alone, if you're oxygenating your system, you're just going to feel so much better.
Yeah. I think that's great. So so were there other benefits, or did we get off track?
Yeah, well, kind of a little bit. Deep breathing also helps to relax the body. We try to slow down the breath. Some of the shallow breathing is quick. Slowing down the breath shifts into peace and calm. So that's another reason why people feel good when they leave class, because they feel more relaxed. You know, after our meditation, they're like, oh, could I just stay here and take a little nap? Some say, now I feel energized, but I think your body calls in whatever it needs. You know, if you need to be energized, you'll get that. If you need to relax, that's what you'll get from the class. Not to mention flexibility. You know, we're stretching, and that's a really big deal for anyone who suffers from arthritis, because stretching creates space in the body and releases tension, and automatically your joints are going to feel so much better if you can create space. And strengthening the muscles, say around the knee, if you're real tight around the knee and we stretch and then we strengthen, it kind of bulks up around the knee, and then we have more space, more movement in the knee joint itself. So we're creating strong muscles, strong bones, because when the muscles clamp down on the bones get stronger, and good balance. That is so important. In the senior years, the percentage is very high. I wish I brought the percentages with me, but the percentage goes up once you hit about 80. It's a likelihood that a senior will experience a fall, and then there's a lot of complications that come with the fall, not to mention the fear of falling again, so then there's a contraction of not wanting to move.
Right. And I think both and all exercise, people would say, is a good prevention for those things later in life as well. And yoga in particular, as you said, with the balance, and you've talked, you know, a lot about breathing and about stretching, but people should know that there is a strength component to yoga as well, right?
Definitely.
That they're going to walk away and they are going to gain, as you said, that muscle that will then support their bone. But talk a little bit more about the strength components of yoga.
A big one that I like to focus on is the thighs, and we have a couple of tests that we do to see can you lift the thigh off the chair without bending the knee, and an exercise I call triple hinge. And some seniors are kind of flipping the lower leg and the thigh is not coming up. And that's really important to notice, because those are our muscles of independence. Those keep us walking around independently, able to climb stairs. So once the body awareness comes in of, am I weak in the thighs, then there's more of a level 1 exercise that you can do without even getting up off the chair, just more of an isometric, pushing your body weight into the floor, pushing your foot into the floor, that anyone in a wheelchair could do to strengthen the thighs. We do what I call brain exercises because of my holistic health counseling background.
Yes.
I think it's important to bring that component in. Exercise is good for brain health regardless, but we do exercises where you're moving different body parts at the same time in sequence. And everyone has a good time with it, not always doing it as it's supposed to turn out.
Well, I think of the old thing, you know, where people used to try to say to pat your stomach and
Yes.
rub your head. So you're talking about those types of things.
Types of
where you're
exercises,
doing
yeah.
things that seem to be in opposition of each other, but it's good for your brain.
It's
right?
good for your brain. Exercise in itself is good for your brain, but when you combine thinking with movement, it supercharges the effect that it has on your brain.
Yeah. Fascinating, isn't it? Really, I mean, just really could probably talk to you both for hours about all of these things. But it's wonderful to share the benefits of exercise with people. And as I asked Nona, what advice would you give folks who are apprehensive about starting any exercise program, but yoga in particular, you know, in getting started, how to get started?
You know, I would say check out the senior centers, or if you're in a 55 and older community, go to the clubhouse. Most places have, if not chair yoga, a chair exercise program. And just watch and just sit in the back and feel free to move if you're called to do it, and do whatever you can. You know, we do exercises where the knee is all the way up at my chest, and I say just tap your toes. You're still moving. And with chair yoga, there's lots of room to grow. And don't get disheartened because I do see that people come in and they just kind of give up and say, I can't do it. Don't go down that road.
Again, I think it's really great information for folks to have, to understand that they too can exercise, and it doesn't matter your age or your ability, that there are programs and ways that you can get mobile and do those things too. And you're both going to show us a little bit of demonstration of how we can do those exercises ourselves. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you both do that. And so that's what we'll bring you in a minute.
Song I'm going to do for you is called Salsa Soca, a combination of salsa and soca with fitness moves interjected. All of the cues are physical, and I will point out a modification that I would use for seniors for one of the fitness moves.
are some yoga exercises modified for the chair, beginning with cat-cow, sitting mountain pose, knees in front of the hips, ankles below the knees, toes pointing forward, hands resting on your thighs, curling down, one vertebrae at a time, pushing the middle of the back away from the midline. Pause in the curl down position, draw the shoulders forward, getting a stretch across the upper back. Take a breath in to deepen the stretch. Exhale, come back to center, flex the spine in the opposite direction, draw the shoulders back. A modification to that would be to cross at the chest, curl down one vertebrae at a time. Rather than hinging from the hips, pushing the middle of the back away from the midline, take a breath in. Exhale, come back to center. Flex the spine in the opposite direction, W-shaped arms, and draw the shoulder blades together behind, exercising the back muscles, putting a little pressure on the spinal column, turning on the bone building process in the spine. Into circles of joy. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. And there's 2 levels for seated pigeon. Level 1, crossing at the ankle for anyone who has knee or hip issues. Level 2, calf comes up to rest on the thigh. Foot is flexed, spine is long. Take a breath in. Exhale down, long, slow exhalation. Inhale up. Exhale down. Creating space in the lower back, in the back side, taking pressure off the nerves and vessels in the lower back. And we go to the opposite side, either cross at the ankle or bring the calf up to rest on the thigh. Foot is flexed, spine is long. Take a breath in. Exhale down. Long, slow exhalation signals to the central nervous system all is well, peace and calm, and it allows us to go deeper into the stretch. This is a great exercise for anyone who has sciatica nerve pain because it creates space in the lower back. And back to center. Now I'm going to go into a standing exercise, turning the chair for invisible chair pose. And you control the level of intensity that's right for you. So you could take it down a little squat, or you could take it down a big squat. Here's where you can see the chair can steady us. Coming up into plank, you could come into a slight angle or a deep angle, heels on the floor, giving a stretch in the calf, palm of the hands pressing into the chair, strengthening the biceps. Take it back down as deep as you feel comfortable doing it. And back up. One more time, take it down. And back up. And back to center. Namaste.
Thank you all for sharing your time with us today. Aging Insights is produced by the New Jersey Foundation for Aging and is made possible by donations to the foundation. To become a sponsor for Aging Insights programs, please go to our website at www.njfoundationforaging.org or call us in the office at 609-421-0206. All of the previous episodes may be viewed on our website. We'd like to remind you to find out about senior services in your area. Please contact your county office on aging. Their numbers are also on our website, but you can also call the hotline at 1-877-222-3737. Thank you for watching this episode of Aging Insights, and remember, aging is everyone's business.